Hello everyone, today we are making what I've decided to call a cinnamon roll banana bread. It has all the best parts of a banana bread and a cinnamon roll, and it's very easy, so let's go ahead and get started. So first we are going to start with melting 2 sticks of butter. And while that's in the microwave, we are going to go ahead and smush down our bananas. I'm using overripe bananas. They can actually be more ripe than this, like they can be completely black. I just couldn't stand the smell of them in my home anymore, so I just went ahead and cooked them. If they are taking too long, you can put them in the freezer as well, if you don't want to smell that nasty banana smell, and it would still get overripe. So I'm just going to smush these now with a fork. No need to pull out a blender. Very, very simple tools that we're using. I'm gonna go ahead and work on our our dry mixture, which does include our flour, of course. All of our dry ingredients will always be the salt, the sugar, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon. I did use a little bit of nutmeg. That is completely optional. I'm just obsessed with it. Once that butter melts down, we're gonna go ahead and pull in our white sugar and our brown sugar. Yes, this is calling for a lot of sugar. I never said it was healthy, guys. And this will make a lot of batter, which I did not actually expect it to do. I didn't realize how much of the batter I actually made from this recipe. So you can make a lot of banana bread with this. Go ahead and mix in our brown sugar and our white sugar into the butter until all those little pieces are combined. The brown sugar will, of course, fight you a little bit, so just make sure you're mixing that good. Go ahead and pour in your vanilla, and then we're going to get out of room temperature eggs. I cannot reiterate how much room temperature eggs are always needed in things like this. Go ahead and mix in those eggs one at a time. So I'm mixing the first egg, I'm giving that a good mix, and then I'm adding in the second egg. You just want to make sure the egg is incorporated in each parts of the batter. So mix each egg after one and just give it a good mix until it's all combined. Once that's combined, I'm going to add in my buttermilk. I know some people like to pour a little bit of both, which I usually do for my cakes, but for my bread, I've never had any issue doing it this way. So if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. Go ahead and pour in the flour mixture. We are almost there. Your oven should be heated up and ready to go at 350. I'm pouring the batter in a little at a time because this batter is so wet, so it's going to take a very long time to get it mixed in, and it's going to be very messy. So just do like half and half, mix that in very well. Then once it's all mixed, we're going to pour in our banana and just mix that in very softly. It doesn't have to be too crazy. We're just adding it in just to get that banana flavor in there. Get that nice and mixed up, and then we are going to work on the cinnamon roll part of it. So I'm using some melted butter. As you can see, some of my butter was still softened. I would suggest making it completely melted because this ended up being kind of hard for me to do. Adding in that cinnamon, that sugar, it's just like you're making the filling part for the cinnamon rolls. So I melted the butter down a little bit more, and it had this similar look to cinnamon rolls. So once it looks like that, you can set that aside and pull out your pan. And I forgot about the cinnamon part for a while, so I did kind of overstuff my pan, and then once I realized, I took some out, and then I put the cinnamon in the middle. There's not a specific amount that I put right here. I would say just about 2 teaspoons in each spoon. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just mixing this in, having a little fun with it. This part doesn't matter either. I just wanted it to kind of be in like all parts, but it's really no biggie. And I'm just going to create a layer with this. So I'm going to go on with the second part of the batter and pour that over the brown sugar mixture that we just put in. And guys, if you haven't already checked it out, please check out my Natalie Portman cinnamon rolls, which are vegan cinnamon rolls that I personally made for Natalie Portman. We're going to cover that completely, and I'm going to put a little bit more brown sugar on top for the final coat. As I said earlier, I made a lot of batter and I didn't realize how much it was making. So of course I had a lot of batter left over. So I would suggest using a bigger pan, but I was still testing this recipe out. So I used this for the first part that I hoped would come out correctly. And then for my remaining batter, I just put it in a 9x9, which still actually came out a pretty good size. I was able to share both in like little bite sizes, so I would not complain. And then I just place that in the oven with that as well at 350 for about 30 minutes, or until you can stick the toothpick inside and there's no batter on that. So once there's no batter on my toothpick, this is what it looked like. I let that cool down for a little bit, and while that's cooling down, we're going to work on the other part of the cinnamon roll part. So you need a good cream cheese icing for cinnamon rolls, or at least I think it's preferred. I'm using room temp cream cheese, melted butter, of course some vanilla or vanilla bean paste, whichever one you have. I would suggest vanilla for this though. Go ahead and give that a good mix and add in some powdered sugar, and it's going to create a beautiful cream cheese topping. It's going to mix really weird at first, but I promise it will come together. And go ahead and set that aside. Your bread should be completely cooled down now, and I'm just going to smear this over the bread. Even though my bread is cool, I do like for it to be a little bit still warm, I guess, if that makes sense, because I do like the way it melts the icing just a tiny bit. It should be able to touch the pan, but still warm enough that it's like it came out the microwave. I sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon on top just so that it can look very, very pretty and presentable. And I had to show you guys the inside of the cake as well to show you what the brown sugar part did. So the added little bit of cinnamon pieces inside. It's very, very delicious, very moist. Let me know what you guys think, and what other infusions should we try.